Today I'm going over the Polymarket site and showing where the odds stand right now. And a very interesting development that happened is Donald Trump rose over 10 percentage points today, and it is now a tied race or a 1 point race now for Polymarket on who people think is going to win the presidential election, Kamala Harris or Donald Trump. And my reason for doing this is for a while now, Donald Trump has consistently led in the Polymarket odds. He was winning for a long time, and then when Kamala Harris joined the race, she immediately began skyrocketing and going towards the top, and just recently, even taking the lead over Donald Trump back in the first week of August. And since then, she has held a lead over Trump in the Polymarket odds until today, where things have gotten very, very close to being at 50-50, and for a very brief period of time, it was even a tie. Harris has now regained a 1 point lead over Trump, and it's been going back and forth, but it is now a 50-50 race. And today in this video, I'm kind of going over this and showing you why this election is such a seesaw, back and forth, 50-50 race. So in the Polymarket odds, why is it so close? Why is it 50-50? Well, for one, look at some of the states that are the swing states and the lean states. All the typical toss-up states I usually talk about, but in the past few days, Pennsylvania was the same as Wisconsin and Michigan, where it was lead blue for Harris. Michigan lead blue for Harris. Pennsylvania is now still leading Harris, but now it's very, very close enough where it's still considered a toss-up and not leading for her at this time. It's the way it's done on here is a little bit different than how I and many other election people who watch the election results and such do it, but it's still Pennsylvania has gone back from being a lead Harris state to being a toss-up state on here. And the reason that is because of the video I covered yesterday about Pennsylvania and the poll that came out showing Trump with undecided voters winning and winning the race 51-49 when undecided voters were factored in. And you kind of saw a bit of a push in Pennsylvania where things are starting to go back towards Trump's direction. Also, Harris's policy proposals she laid out yesterday have been getting a lot of flack online, on media, on social media, and that could be another driving force for why Harris's numbers have stayed pretty much the same, gone down a little bit, but Trump's numbers have started to go back up. Pennsylvania is still close. Michigan is still close. Wisconsin is still close. Nevada is a split. Arizona is a split. Georgia is very close. North Carolina is very close. So I want to let you know that Polymarket now is a 50-50 race essentially between Trump and Harris. And looking at the top battleground states, this is updated as of yesterday, Saturday, August 17th. I mean, this election right now could not get any closer. It really couldn't. Let's see, let's do a quick count, okay? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 toss-up states here. 7 toss-up states. Of the 7, Donald Trump is winning 3 of them. Kamala Harris is winning 3 of them. And Pennsylvania, the most important of them all in my opinion, is a statistical tie. I mean, look, this election really can't get any closer. I know both sides want to say that their candidate is running away with it. Republicans will love to say that, Trump is winning this election in a landslide. Democrats would love to say Harris is winning this election in a landslide. The simple fact is right now, this election is so incredibly close and will likely remain so incredibly close. But it is so tight right now. And I'm going to just real quickly, I'm going to apply the margins of this poll to the electoral map and just show you what I mean, just how close this election really is when we start looking at the math and breaking things down. Okay? So, first things first, we're going to start off with the state of Arizona, which is 0.2% right now for Kamala Harris. So, give Harris Arizona. Now, we're going to go to the state of Nevada, where Trump is up by 1.3. Give Nevada to Trump. That gets him to 225. The state of Wisconsin right now is a 1-point lead for Kamala Harris, so we'll give that to Harris at 10 electoral votes. Next, we'll go to the state of Michigan, a 2.1% lead right now in the state of Michigan for Harris. That puts Harris at 262. Pennsylvania, we're going to come back to. North Carolina is 1.2% for Donald Trump. and we're going to give that to Trump, 241, and Georgia, where it's a 1-point lead for Donald Trump at this time. And look at this. According to this map, Pennsylvania's a tie. It's 262 to 257 right now. I mean, could we get a closer presidential election right now? All these states that I just went over, they're all a margin of 5% or less in terms of who's leading in the polling average. The largest lead in any of these toss-up states is Michigan at 2.1%. This is an insanely tight, insanely close election where every single vote really does matter. 2020, 2016 were very close. I would bet 2024 is going to be even closer because the margins of this are so insanely close. Where, like I've been saying, this election all comes down to the state of Pennsylvania. I've been saying all along, all Trump needs to do to win is win the state of Georgia and the state of Pennsylvania and hold everything else that he won in 2020. A night where Joe Biden did very well and is something that a lot of people weren't sure if he ran for re-election, would he be able to do. And that's why I think one of the main reasons why he's not in the race anymore and Kamala Harris is now in was concerns that Biden wouldn't be able to do what he did in 2020 again. We're seeing a map right now that is very, very split. We're probably going to see the Democratic states get more Democratic, the Republican states get more Republican, and these toss-up states that I just went over are really, really going to be very, very close. In last video I said, and I'm going to start saying this more in future videos, I don't think this will be like 2016 where Trump pretty much won all the toss-up states except for the state of Nevada, or 2020 where Biden pretty much won all of the toss-up states except for the state of North Carolina. I think this election is going to be a case of Trump gets some toss-up states and Harris gets some toss-up states, and it really comes down to who wins the state of Pennsylvania. I can't put enough emphasis on this state. Whoever wins Pennsylvania, in my view, is the next president of the United States. Because there's a good chance this map, according to the polls today, is either correct or incorrect by election day. It could go either way, but I think the semantics of it are correct, which is all these states are all very, very close. And each of them could vote the way they currently have them leading, or could vote the other way on election day. Meaning, Arizona could easily vote for Trump on election day, as Nevada could easily vote for Harris. Wisconsin, Michigan, same thing. North Carolina, Georgia, same thing. This election is all very, very close. And the state of Pennsylvania, I keep coming back to it. It's the biggest number of electoral votes of any toss-up state. And look, if Harris wins the state, that cuts off Trump's path to 270 because that's 19 electoral votes. That puts Harris over the 270 needed to win. If Trump is able to win Pennsylvania and holds all the other states on this list, that gets him to 276, and he wins an incredibly close election, but he wins nonetheless. Which is why right now seeing Pennsylvania as a pure toss-up is kind of a very accurate summation of what the race is right now. And I can't say it enough. I can't scream it enough if I even wanted to. This election is incredibly, incredibly, incredibly close. And I think that's something both sides have to recognize right now, that it's going to come down to which party turns out more voters, because this election is super close and it's going to be a nail-biter. And I wouldn't be shocked if this is an election that takes 2 or 3 days to find out who the winner is. I would not be surprised one bit, because there's going to be a lot of very, very close results in Arizona, in Nevada, in Michigan, in Wisconsin, in Pennsylvania, in Georgia, in North Carolina. This will not be a blowout for either candidate. You know, I've been saying in a lot of recent videos that I thought this election was more like 2004 than it was, say, 2020 or 2016. I'm now thinking it's somewhere in between 2004 and 2000. I really think right now, an election where, say, Donald Trump wins, a 276 or 262 electoral map, I think is very feasible compared to how close this election actually is. I also don't really think it's inconceivable to say if Kamala Harris wins, I could absolutely see it being a 270 to 268 electoral map. I could totally see that. I could see Harris winning Arizona and winning Nevada and it being 251 to 287. I could totally see that too. But I just think this election is so close. Trump is running ahead of Harris in a lot of states that he didn't even win last time, like Georgia, like Nevada. And it's something that I think at very least is plausible. But this election is so close. The polls in all the swing states in the last few days, updated as of yesterday, certainly show how close this race really is. And now the poly market odds, refreshing, still 50-49, suggest that Nevada, Arizona, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Georgia, they're all a very tight contested race. And it's going to come down to which party gets more votes on election day. That's who's going to win. I mean, the simple fact is right now, I mean, I started doing videos back in 2018. So I've seen 2018, 2020, 22, and 24. This is the closest election I've ever seen. It's not a massive sample size, but this is the most closely competitive election there has been in the last, since 2016 at least. And I don't think it's going to change. I think it's going to remain a super close race that we're not going to know who's going to win until Election Day. I think both sides will make themselves feel better, and Republicans will say, oh, of course Trump is going to win. Or Democrats will say, of course Harris is going to win. And I think one party on Election Day is going to be completely blindsided by the fact that their candidate lost. But right now, it's so incredibly close, I'm really not too sure which party will be the ones to be upset that their candidate loses. Because it really could go either way right now. And my recent election prediction was I had Trump narrowly winning because I had him winning Georgia and North Carolina and Pennsylvania, and that would be enough to get Trump to 270. But if Trump loses on Election Day, I would not be shocked at all. If Trump wins on Election Day, I really wouldn't be shocked at all either. This isn't 2016 where Trump is not favored to win. This is the best Trump has ever polled. In the swing states, it's incredibly close, but nationally in approval ratings, this is the highest Trump has ever been. So if Trump wins, I wouldn't be surprised one bit. But if Harris comes in and wins the state of Pennsylvania, wins Michigan, and wins Wisconsin, and wins the election, I wouldn't be surprised either. Because she absolutely skyrocketed her polls since she joined the race and made it a whole different race than what Trump versus Biden was. So really, at the end of the day, this race is so incredibly close, and you have to keep watching from now until Election Day to see if anything really changes in the polling data or if national momentum changes, because this is so incredibly close right now, and I don't think that's going to change. That'll do it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to give this video a like and click subscribe so you get notified when I post new videos like this one every day leading up to Election Day. Thanks so much for watching. Please remember to like and share with your family and friends, and I hope to see you in a future video.